All right, guys. Hey, it's Mr. Kleber, and we are winding down on our study of life science. We just have two more presentations. We have this week. We are doing a couple of, a bunch of video on plants in general. A really entertaining video about how you can propagate or plant different plants in different ways, ways that you never thought possible. It's kind of a cool thing. We are also going to be talking about the desert environment on our continuing study of the different habitats that occur right here in San Diego County. And we have two more. We're going to be looking at the desert this week, and then next week, the next time we meet, I should say, that we will be looking at an alpine forest and maybe an alpine meadow too. So we'll be looking at that, the last two of our habitats. And we have also been studying plants and in the life science section of our science instruction. So we studied in the first part of our experiments. If you guys can remember the seed experiments, okay, how seeds grow, okay. And then in the second part, we talked a little bit about the needs of seeds, okay? And so, needs of plants. What do plants need in order to grow? And then we talked about light and no light. Okay? And then also, we talked about different aspects, and I'm sorry, let me back up here. The seed growth, we talked about how do seeds grow, and we watched that when we did the bag experiments. Then we talked about light, no light, and some of us learned a little bit by observing the avocado, how sometimes seeds just don't have what they need, so they just don't grow. And was it enough water, not too much water, those types of things. So the needs of plants are important, and then we have to kind of think about why things do or do not work, because we talked about the scientific theory of hypothesis and experiment. So we talked about that a little bit. This last part we're going to talk about is this part that I think is super important. It's called biodiversity, and that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to talk about that. And then what we do today, you're going to have to hold on to this this thing that we have going today, so that you can finish it up next week. Okay, so not next week, I keep saying next week, the next time we meet. So you want to hold on to all the material that we create and use today, so that you can complete the I wouldn't say it's an experiment, the observation the next time we meet. There's one component here that we did not do, and I'm going to invite you, and it's a very simple thing, is make a bee. Okay? And you're saying, Mr. Kleber, how can we make a bee? All right? We're not bees. I'm not asking you to be a bee. I'm asking you to be a person who can make a bee out of stuff you have around your house. Okay? We all know what bees look like. We saw that in the video last time. We talked about bees, and and we've been observing them a little bit. But what you're to do, and this is an optional assignment, you do not have to do this, it is something fun you can do, is make a bee out of stuff you have at home. Recreate what a bee looks like: the 6 legs, the wings, the body, the head, the thorax, I guess is what you want to call it, the abdomen. And then what do bees do? They collect pollen. So you'd have to have something fuzzy on the body and legs that might be a pollen collector. But maybe you can create a mechanical bee, some other way to collect pollen and stuff. So I'm going to leave a space on the seesaw lesson for you guys to do this. So if you want to take a picture of your creation and post it on the seesaw lesson as an extra. But today we're going to talk about biodiversity. And I don't want to spend too much time on all this. I just want to let you guys know that today's going to be fun, because all you're going to need is a piece of paper. I'm using a kind of a thicker paper. It's called watercolor paper, so this works a little bit better because it's a little bit windy today. And then I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to take my scissors, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut kind of a rectangle out of here. So from the folded side, not the other side, from the folded side, I'm going to cut to here. Then I'm going to cut to here on the other side, kind of equal. This doesn't have to be perfect at all, people. And then I'm going to cut across to here. And so what I've created is called a quadrant, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quadrant out someplace that I think has biodiversity. Bio means life, diversity means different. So I'm going to look for a place where I think there's all kinds of different types of life, and I'm going to place this on the ground or wherever I'm observing, and then I'm simply going to take my journal. Okay, it could just be a piece of paper too, people. It doesn't have to be a journal. Okay, and whatever I see in my quadrant, I'm just going to write it down here. Okay, so, and it doesn't have to be the scientific names or anything. It's like anything that's living you want to add here. Okay, is a stick living? No. But is a branch living? Yeah, more than likely. All right, grass is living. Okay, a brown bug is living. Okay, ooh, a black spider is living. Run away. These are all living things. So you just want to list the things that you see in your quadrant into your journal. Okay, and that's simply all you're going to do this week. So you're going to make a quadrant, you fold a piece of paper, all right, and then you cut a little square out of it, open it up, there's your quadrant. Take it someplace in your yard or a park or someplace where there's plants and maybe some animals, some insects. Don't try to put it on top of a bird, probably won't like that. But and then just write down everything you see. Now, don't start counting all the blades of grass. You can just put grass down. Okay, I saw 250,000 pieces of grass. Don't do that. Okay, we're just looking in general. You don't have to be that specific, but it'll be fun. And remember, we have to keep this and your notes from this time for the next time in science. So you're going to see a really great video about being in the desert. Okay, you're also going to see different ways to grow plants and do what we call a field study. Okay, you're going to go out into the field and study what's there. Biodiversity. This should be fun. I'm going to go out right now. Okay guys, so I am here in my yard, actually behind my yard, and I've placed my quadrant down, and I'm looking for life. And what I see is nothing. I don't see anything alive in this area. Okay? And there's got to be a reason for that. Well, this is not, this is like a little pile of what I call compost. This is what I've been composting so that I can use this to help my plants. Every once in a while I'll see a little ant crawl by, but this isn't the kind of place that you want to place your quadrant. Okay, because there's things that are dead here. It's not, we're talking about biodiversity. We want to see things that are alive. Okay? So I'm going to continue to look. I'm going to try to find that place that might have some biodiversity. All right, in my quest for biodiversity, in this shot here, I see a roly-poly. It's striped. I haven't seen one of those before. I see another roly-poly over here in the corner. So that would be two roly-polies. I saw an ant. I saw a type of grass. You can see the ant in there somewhere. So this is something more like we were talking about. We're talking about finding some place where you can find different types of life within your quadrant. So in my quadrant, I'm looking at two different types of animals. I had seen the roly-polies, two of them, and I saw an ant. Okay, did not see any uncles though, only ants. And then I had some plants, and the plants I have in this area would be grass. And like I said, we don't want to count all the different pieces of grass, but if you want, you can. I mean, if it's just a small piece, I mean, you could probably count these out if you wanted to, but it's probably not going to be worth it. But definitely the animals, and if you just kind of leave it here for a little bit, maybe some more animals will show up. Maybe they want to be counted too. So at any rate, this is biodiversity. This is like a little ecosystem where all these animals are working with these plants to live, and it's kind of balanced out right now. All right, so there you have it, folks. I'll write that in my journal, and I'll be ready for next week or next time. Okay, bye-bye.